Today, we talk stars, read Christopher Rummens' Cucumber the Star, and make a mobile star.
Hello, today's video is all about stars. There are loads of them up in the night sky, and now, during lockdown, we can see more than ever. But what exactly is a star?
A star is a luminous ball of gas made up mainly of hydrogen and helium held together by its own gravity. Now the gravity is pulling it in, but the hydrogen and helium are undergoing nuclear fusion, and that's making the star want to expand. So the nuclear fusion makes it want to expand, the gravity makes it want to contract, and so they're both pulling against each other, and that's what holds the star in steady state. Until the nuclear fusion stops happening because the hydrogens run out. And then the gravity takes over and the star collapses.
Unlike planets, stars give out their own light. Planets only reflect light. Our nearest star is, of course, the Sun, which is the centre of our solar system. There are an estimated 100 billion stars in our own Milky Way, that's our galaxy, although some estimates are 4 times that figure. A typical galaxy could contain anywhere between about 10 million and 1 trillion stars. So how long does a star last? Well, that depends on its mass. A really massive star can burn out and explode in a supernova after only a few million years of fusion. But a star with a mass like the Sun's can go on for billions of years. When we see stars in the sky, we're looking at them in the past, because we only see a star when the light leaving the star reaches our eye.
So how do stars actually form?
Well, they start off as huge clouds of gas and dust, and over time the gravity causes the cloud to draw in closer together. And as more gas accumulates, it becomes denser and the pressure increases and the star heats up and begins to glow. The hottest and most massive stars are blue and bright, while the coolest and least massive stars are red and dim. No green stars exist.
It's the total opposite of what you'd expect. Blue is hot and red is cold.
Stars twinkle because of movement in the Earth's atmosphere. So what are shooting stars? Without stars, we wouldn't exist at all, because at the beginning of the universe, all that existed was hydrogen, helium, and some trace amounts of lithium. Every other naturally occurring element occurred because of stars. They were formed during the life and death of stars. So what are shooting stars? Why are they on the move like that? Well, shooting stars are actually a small piece of rock or dust that has hit the Earth's atmosphere from space. It moves so fast that it heats up and glows as it goes through the atmosphere. And they're actually what we call meteors. They burn up in the atmosphere usually before they hit the ground. So what's a constellation? Well, a constellation is just a group of stars which form a recognisable pattern or picture. So let's look at the main types of stars, starting with the main sequence star. That's your regular kind of star. Most of the stars in our galaxy are these. A T Tauri star is just before the star becomes the main sequence star, just before nuclear fusion begins, and it looks pretty much like a main sequence star. When a star has used up its main stock of hydrogen, it becomes a red giant star. So the nuclear fusion stops and there just remains a shell of hydrogen around the core, which ignites, making the star increase dramatically. The red giant star will last for about 100 million years before it completely runs out of fuel and becomes a white dwarf star. So a white dwarf star has completely run out of hydrogen now, so there's no outward pressure to counteract the inward pressure of the gravity, so it collapses in on itself. A white dwarf star will shine because it was hot once, but it will just keep cooling down until it just becomes part of the background of the universe. This takes hundreds of billions of years, so no white dwarfs have actually managed to cool down yet, because we're only 13.8 billion years old in this universe.
Whereas main sequence stars are the majority of stars in our galaxy, in our universe, red dwarf stars dominate. And they're the same as main sequence stars, but they're a lot smaller in mass. They're much cooler than main sequence stars. Stars of a certain size, a bit bigger than our sun, don't become white dwarfs. Instead, they become neutron stars after a supernova explosion. And if they're bigger still, they'll become black holes. The biggest stars of all are supergiants, which are so massive, they're consuming hydrogen at a really fast rate, so they burn out pretty quickly. When they detonate a supernova, they completely disintegrate in the process. Today's story has a star as the main character. This is Cucumber the Star by Christopher Rummens.
Chapter 4. Obviously, the children went absolutely berserk. Eva ran straight into a branch and cut her cheek. Justin dropped to his knees and screamed. Lily ran and squealed until she was out of breath. 5 meters. And Adela kept it simple by just standing there and wetting himself. In front of them stood a star. It wasn't the shape of a star you get taught to draw when you're a child. It was a mini sun, spherical with fuzzy edges and somewhere in between yellow and white. It had 2 big happy eyes and a huge glistening smile, but no nose and no ears. Above the eyes were 2 huge eyebrows that looked like they'd been drawn on with black marker. "Oh, hey, sorry guys, didn't mean to frighten you there," said the star. Justin, still on his knees, returned to screaming. Adela finished off his business and Lily regained her breath enough to start squealing and running again, 3 meters this time. Eva, however, touched her cheek and saw the blood on her fingers. She licked them and then turned around to face the star. It looked at her. "Hello there, Eva. Nice to meet you. I'm the star. Say, that looks like a mighty nasty cut you got there on your cheek. Bring it on over and let me sort it out." Eva closed her eyes tightly and then opened them. The star was still there, smiling with 2 thumbs up. The star has legs and arms, short ones, and its only clothes are a pair of flip-flops. Eva tried pinching herself. But the star remained. Bigger smile, peace signs on both hands. Eva tried to think of books she'd read and movies she'd seen where something unbelievable happened, and what the characters did to check if the unbelievable thing was real. She slapped herself. The star was smiling and dancing now. She looked for some water to throw on herself, but the grotty puddle not too far away was the only wet thing about. She thought about flicking her forehead with her finger, but she imagined that was a test designed to stimulate the same kind of response as the slap. She started to worry, as she couldn't think of any more tests. Then, suddenly, it dawned on her that none of these tests had ever been successful in those books or movies. The unbelievable things had always been real. And she'd always been annoyed that the character hadn't just believed in the unbelievable thing immediately, so that they could get on with the story. "Are you in a book?" she asked the star. "I don't think so," said the star, looking under its feet. "No. Are you in a book?" "Not on a book." "I'm in lots of books," replied the star. "Like what?" "The Bible and most of the astronomy books and lots of photography books and..." Yeah, shut up. I mean, are we in a book now? If you mean, are we fictional characters in a book, then no. Then why are you talking? Why do you look like a stupid cartoon? Why do you have that stupid voice? Why aren't we all burning to death from your heat? She said, her arms out wide. "And why don't you stop smiling?" she shouted. "Okay," the star said in a jolly manner. "Lots of questions there. Maybe we should hear some of the other children," it said, raising its eyes. Lily, Adela and Justin had managed to crawl over and were now all sitting next to each other, their legs crossed and their mouths wide open. "Do you guys have any questions you'd like to ask me?" Cucumber asked, looking into their eyes to check if they were still alive. "Bet you'd love to know what my favourite pie is, hey Lily? Or what my favourite judge panel dancing show is, hey Adela? or who my top celeb tweeter is. Hey, Justin? They gawped and they gawped and they gawped. For 3 minutes, they gawped. The star kept looking at them, smiling and lifting its eyebrows in some attempt to motivate them into asking a question. The star daren't look back at Eva and get involved in her line of interrogation. Just as Eva began to tell the star that they couldn't talk, Justin began to mutter something unintelligible. He said, dribbling down his costume. Yes, replied the star, finally returning Eva's gaze, if only to check on the sanity of Justin. Justin coughed and beat his chest. He shook his head and made a few grunting noises. I said, he shouted before pausing, realising he could speak again. I said, quieter now, what is your favourite food? Justin raised his shoulders, questioning his question. Oh, my favourite food is cucumber, Justin, the star said enthusiastically, winking at Justin. Justin smiled. Your name's Cucumber? Asked Adela, his mind stumbling out of a coma of confusion. What a ridiculous name, implored Lily, slurring her words. I really like it, protested Adela. Sorry about Lily Cucumber, I really like your name. Me too, backtracked Lily. Sorry, I meant what a ridiculous mane. Like, if a horse had a cucumber as its mane, that'd be ridiculous, right? That's not its name. That's just its favourite, began Eva. Name, interrupted the star. It's just my favourite name, and it is my name. Nice to meet you all. My name is Cucumber. Lily and Adela clapped, unsure of the protocol when first meeting a celestial thing. Cucumber raised its hand in appreciation of the applause. Now I know the insides of your minds are probably exploding, began Cucumber. That's what happens when your reality is shattered and everything you thought you knew and had been taught turns out to be incorrect. Well, don't worry, that's life. Now I know who all of you are. I've been watching you your whole lives. Even when we were going to the toilet, inquired a disturbed Lily. Huh? Replied Cucumber. Like when we have a wee or a Lily tried to explain. Yes, I know what the toilet is, thank you, Lily. Yes, I suppose sometimes. Obviously, I've not watched you for every second of your entire lives. I've got my own life, you know. But yes, occasionally when I check in on you, you might be having a wee. Oh dear, said Justin. Hey, you guys, come on. I had no idea things were going to get this weird between us straight away. All you need to know is I know who you all are. I've got super deep intuition. That's going to help you all out. And I'm really cool because I'm a star in flip-flops, okay? They stared at the star. Okay, Cucumber implored. Okay, they said in unison. Cool. Now, I don't mind you asking me anything you want. I want to be wicked honest with you guys and give you loads of awesome truth that's going to make you into better people and make you super wise. But let's try and keep the questions away from the toilet and being naked, all right? All right, they said in unison. Great. Now, who's ready for an adventure? Wahoo! Cried Lily. What about school? Asked Adela. Don't you worry. The amazing wonders your mind is going to experience today will make the stuff your teacher teaches you feel like intermediate quantum physics. Radiating penguin flippers, exclaimed a flabbergasted Lily. Never mind. But first, Eva, come here, Cucumber commanded. Eva walked forward and Cucumber moved its hand over her face. Lots of mini star-shaped stars swirled around her face, and when they'd vanished, the cut was healed. Ooh, they all cooed and clapped. And Adela, I believe you had a little accident that I can take care of. Adela blushed and covered his trousers with his hand. No, he said. Yes, sorry, my mistake, Cucumber said, as Adela felt his trousers become instantly dry. Cucumber winked at him. They all saw. That was Cucumber the star. How cool would it be to meet a star? Unfortunately, we can't arrange that today, but we can arrange making these super cool 3D stars that you can suspend, and they make really cool decorations or mobiles. All you need to make your stars is some A4 paper. I'm using actually an old envelope because I like the colour of it. It's a lovely hot pink colour.
and you'll need some scissors and either some glue or some double-sided sticky tape. That's all you need. So first up, we're going to get our A4 paper and get folding. So because mine is an envelope, I'm just going to cut it into a piece of paper. It doesn't need to be A4, as long as you make sure that your paper size corresponds to how big you want your star to be. If you've got a rectangular piece of paper, the best way to get it into a square is to fold one of the corners to the end, which is what I'm doing. So it's like that. And then if you cut off this extra rectangle, you will be left with a square. And don't worry about the folds, because it really doesn't matter, because the way we're going to fold our star, that fold will completely disappear because it's kind of part of the design of our star. So once you've cut your square of paper, you need to fold it in half by the other diagonal as well. So basically you've got a cross, folds from both of the diagonals. So fold it out and then you'll have a cross, and then you need to fold it in half, but this time we're going for the rectangle. And then open it out and fold it in half again so that you've got another rectangle. So basically you're folding your square paper in half by the diagonals and also by the middle, so that you've got a cross like that. Then open it out, and then what you need to do is get your scissors, and then you're going to cut halfway up each of the sides of the fold that make the cross that isn't the diagonal cross. So there we go. As you can see, I've cut up halfway along the sides of the cross that isn't the diagonal cross. So now what you need to do is you're going to fold in to the centre folds of each of your quarters. So fold that one in, and then I'm going to fold the second one over the top of it, and you need to really score everything tight so that it's, there we go, nice and neat looking. So already, if you look, I've got the first bit of my star, and there, once I glue that together, I've got one point of my star. So I'm going to do that on all 4 sections, and then we'll get a really nice 3D looking star. So once you've got all your folds in place, a good tip is to just score over them so they're nice and sharply folded. The tighter the folds are, the neater your star will look. And so now we're ready to get gluing. So all we're going to do is glue the folds over each other. So here you go, I've got my first 3D star half, but what we're going to do now is to repeat the same thing and make another one to stick on the back so that it looks pretty on both sides. So you could do a 2-tone star, like choose another type of paper so that it's contrasting, or you could do a star that's completely the same colour. You can also use wrapping paper so your star is patterned, or brown parcel paper can look really cool and trendy as well. Also, if you wanted, you could just use plain white paper and decorate the star, jazz up your design yourself. Oh, you've made yours up. So if we put ours together, then we will have a 2-tone star. How cool is that? So I have finished, and then I'm going to stick my first star onto the back of it, and I'm ready to have a 3D star to suspend on the wall. So all you need to do to stick them together is glue around the square bit on both stars and then put them back to back.
So I have stuck my 2 stars together. I find the best way to stick them is with sticky tape, because a ring of sticky tape has a bit of give. So if there's gaps, it will still stick it together really nicely. And if you wanted to, you could do lots of little ones and put them on a mobile, which would be really cool. And to suspend them, all you need to do is get a needle and thread and just thread it through the top, knot it off and leave the end long so that you can suspend it, and it will twinkle above your bed or wherever you put it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe and spread the word. See you later. Bye.